People of the world, I'm back to do another video where I show piss poor record covers. Now, the music is good, but the cover artwork is, in my opinion, bad. I only have 10 plus records for you today, just to drag this out a little bit so I can do more videos about this, so I can get more likes and so that I can be loved by everyone, especially here on YouTube. That's important to me. I try not to poke fun of stuff that is obviously made to be fun. There's no point in doing that. I try to not take stuff that is just wacky, like cold cuts in the background. I mean, I actually think that like cold cuts and Trout Mask Replica, they are boundary cool. Like I actually think they are pretty beautiful. That being said, I think I've snuck in maybe one or two that is obviously pretty bad. Now, we talk about art, aren't we? And I mean that everyone's opinion about art is different. And we have a saying here in Sweden, opinions are like an ass, divided. And there's a lot of asses out there, especially on YouTube. So with this video, I hope to aggravate and offend as many as I can. So bear with me, here we go. So we're gonna start off with Badfinger, 1972, and Straight Up. In I think it was 1978, this won the prize in, I think it was issue number 162 of Rolling Stone magazine as the brownest record cover ever done. And sure, it's a brown cover. There's no question about that. And talking about silly things, look at that dude's hair. I read somewhere that Tom Evans, this guy's hair was used to mop the floor in the studio, photo studio just before the photo shoot. And if you look really close at the guy's ear here, you can actually see a gum. This was produced by, famously produced by George Harrison and put out in Apple Records. But as the music was produced, the album cover artwork came to the studio where they recorded. Now, it's being said in George Harrison's autobiography that when he saw the cover artwork, he just left. He didn't say anything more, he just left. So they were without a producer. And they did the only sane thing to do. They called Todd Rundgren because it was famously known that Todd Rundgren has no taste in art whatsoever. So when he came in, saw this cover artwork, he had no problems being associated with this. So yeah. Okay, so the next one is, I don't think that this is it's not a bad album cover. I think it's pretty cool, and it definitely is on par with the sort of mythical music surrounding it. But with that being said, I think that I can bring up some good points if we just analyze the cover a little bit. Okay, so let's start with the light source on this Zelda 1974-6. The light source, they only had one lamp in the studio, and they threw it right on Zelda. You can see the hard edged shadows being thrown on the wall. And talking about the wall and this sexy sort of wallpaper or paint that they used, I mean, the entire room just reeks of that sort of joyous mental cell in a mental hospital in Chernobyl, doesn't it? Very like sort of inspiring room to be in when you are producing your art. And if you ever doubt how important this artist was for the label, you just need to throw your eyes on the guitar here, because the head is so dusty. There's such a huge layer of dust. So the only thing I can think of is that they found this guitar in a closet, and it's been there for like 20 years and it's out of tune. So obviously this is what the girls can play with during studio time. I mean, there's Gibson guitars, there's Fender guitars, Ovation, Guild, Martin, when talking about acoustic, and the very famous Ibanez. Maybe the limited edition Ibanez. Okay, this is gonna go pretty fast. That's what she said. So I think I like this cover. It's sort of psychedelic, and I like the font, and I mean, I'm curious to know what's underneath the sort of sleeping gown. Japanese sleeping gown. I don't own one, but I'm intrigued. And I've talked about this before. The funny thing with this is that they misspelled the artist's name with an E. Grahamie Bond. Who am I to judge? Okay, so in 1980, OK Tamis released Drummer of Two Worlds. But maybe a better title would be Drummer in the Sky. And it raises some questions. Is this a tower? And is he drumming on the tower? This is obviously a flying saucer. And maybe that's the two worlds that OK Tamis is talking about. If I was living down here in this sort of city or wherever we are, I don't know where we are, but let's say I'm living down here and I see a flying saucer, I would shit my pants because seeing alien beings up in the sky is frightening. But frightening as that may be, the big sort of drumming Turkish man, cloud man in the sky would be the thing to discuss during the coffee break at work the day after this incident. A quick word about the backside now. Obviously, Tamis wanted to show off his sort of percussion instruments used on the record. You even have identifiers of what the music instruments are, but this is just bragging, isn't it? I bet that 2, 3 or 4 instruments here are not instruments at all. He just picked them up in the sort of kitchen area in Walmart and brought it to the photo session. Oh. Okay, where to begin? Okay, just let's start with the obvious thing. Why is the girl's eyes white? And yeah, the girl in the front is hiding her private parts. And to be fair, I would too. If I was standing naked in a green room and a crab lady was coming from behind and grabbing me when I'm naked and she's naked, I would also hide my private parts. That would be a typical hiding your private parts moment in my book. I won't write that book. And I mean, one of the biggest ones is what is this lady in the front doing there naked in the green room? The sort of the crab lady with the misformed hands, that's also naked. What's her story? Like, did she just pop up one day from the ocean saying hello there? And sure, if I was the sort of author of this record cover, it's a fantastic record, the music is fantastic, but if I did it, I would also sit on a chair and let the light come from behind me so that no one could identify who is to blame, really. And if you thought that was bad, just take a look inside. You have a typical sunset on the beach with mountains and even a sailboat in the sort of the distant there. But again, they thought it was a good idea to have the naked ladies cut out and put there on the horizon. And this guy, I have no idea who that is. Okay, the next one is a Swedish one. This is Pugh Rogefeldt, Jag det är det, 1969. And if Pugh knew that DJ Shadow was sampling one of his songs from this record, I think that he would argue with the photographer a little bit more and don't get pushed into doing this cover because it's not a very good cover, is it? So you have Pugh. The photographer is having him in the sort of bushes, and they go on, like they go on and on these sort of bushes, and Pugh is saying like, why are you putting me in the bushes? They won't see me. Shouldn't we be standing on the road or anything like that? No, this is perfect. Just take your shoes off, go down to the beach, sort of, and take your guitar with you. And Pugh is like, shit, my guitar, it's an expensive guitar. Is it worth it? Are you gonna see the guitar? Is it worth it to bring it down here? And why am I standing here in this sort of lousy pink overly tight shirt? And then the photographer took the picture. And that was a wrap, and he just left. Pugh was standing there sort of like, what the fudge happened there? Peter Gabriel is obviously a man of arts. If you knew his Genesis area or part of his art history, you have the sort of the foxtrot tour where he dressed as a fox, a flamboyant sort of artist. I love the cover of Car and Melt and Scratch, but Car is fantastic. And my favorite, I think my favorite artwork by Peter Gabriel's solo work is Passion of the Christ, the soundtrack. Maybe I'll cut them in here, but if I yeah, oh, there it was. Yeah, 1982 release, the fourth one in the series. There's nothing good about this, in my opinion. There's nothing. I don't even know what it is. Is it a face? Is it a shrunken head? Okay, so in 1972, I guess that imagination was just running wild and going bananas everywhere, and so did the artist on this project, or this one. I did my research pretty well, and I noticed that the girl who did the cover artwork on this is her name is Dominique something. She only did this, so I guess that after this, the jobs weren't like just flowing in like a tsunami of just work. This is Fluff, psychedelic pop record. Pretty good, actually. It's pretty good, but it raises so many questions. Like you have the artist name here, and someone is saying the artist's name or the record name outside of the image. And who is Fluff? I mean, someone is saying Fluff, but I guess that maybe the fish is Fluff, called Fluff, or the bird bird, flying fish. I don't know. Maybe he's Fluff. And the origin of Fluff is obviously from this star, like one star on the entire sky, and his tail's coming from the star. Obviously, this is a murmur, flying bird, spaceman. So yeah, Fluff, and they had one single, and it's on the second side. The only reason you never did it before is because you never did it before, and there's a Japanese label called Three Blind Mice, and they have done some fantastic record releases, fantastic sound quality, superb sound quality, and pressing quality, really sonically great, all of them. And the record cover artworks are really like being in line with the music. And then there's this one. In the land of East, is this how they see the Scandinavians? Because this is Bingo Miki's Scandinavian suit, or sweet suit. Is this how they think of the Scandinavian people, like forests and naked, beautiful women? Because they're not wrong. If you start to take apart body parts and glue them all together, that hasn't been a thing you do since Ed Gein's days. It's not cool, it's not hip, and it's definitely not Scandinavian. If you even for 1 second doubt the sort of serial killer vibes that this has, you just have to turn it around and look at the backside. I mean, who doesn't want a naked lady torso piano in their living room or lounge area? The sort of perfect conversation piece when you have your friends over for supper drinks, cocktails. And on the subject of jail time, in 1975, someone thought that this was a good idea. Let's go through it together, shall we? Let's start with the background. It's a snakeskin background. Raises some questions, like I'm wondering if is this sort of a wallpaper of snakeskin, because in that case she's jumping. But I'm also wondering maybe it's a snakeskin carpet and she's lying down. A lot of snakeskin. I like the choose of font to accompany this sort of picture. You have Nucleus there. The band Nucleus, this is a Nucleus record. Should have started with that. It's sort of bubbly fonts. So this reminds me of my daughter's 6-year-old birthday party when we had balloon animals. Talk about wrong sort of choice of font. Balloon animal font, not okay. So you got high heels, aluminum foil pants. Yes, that's a thing. No shirt. A small hint, just a hint of cosmetic surgery up in this sort of chest area. And oh yes, I almost forgot the tiger snake dragon chastity belt with gold buckles. Tasteless record cover comes to mind, but that's an understatement of the century. And then you turn the cover around. I think this is Iron Car, and I won't relish on this sort of monstrosity too long, because I think that this has caused Iron Car his fair amount of sleepless nights over this photo moment. But you need to point out that in a photo shoot like this, it's all fun and games until this guy here start taking her clothes off. Like, why? And this guy down here, he's having a good time. Like, he's really laughing it up. But I don't think that he was laughing so much the morning after, when the police was like ripping down his door and throwing themselves at him, dragging him out in the street and into a police car accused of gang rape. I mean, the smiles were just like wiped clean off everyone after that incident. And I don't judge you that you didn't read the text. The photo is something, but it takes the eyes off the text. So I'll read it for you. This was commissioned by the Globe Playhouse Trust with funds from the Arts Council of Great Britain. So proud, like really. This is, someone got this on their like desk, and the T was just like I think it's pretty funny when the most sane thing about this record cover is the punch hole. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave me comments down below, or subscribe if you haven't. I'll try to answer all the questions you have, and I'm sure there's questions, but I'll try. So yeah, put them down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. It's like a car crash. You can't take your eyes off, and this is just wrong. Like it's